Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. It is 6:29 a.m. East Coast time, Saturday, August 3rd. Happy weekend, happy Saturday. Hope you're having a great start to your weekend, good Friday night, whatever it might be. We're here with the WNBA slate on Saturday. We have a 3-game slate, and let me just make sure. I believe it starts, yes, it starts at 7. I wanted to make sure it wasn't an early start, but it's starting at 7 p.m. tonight, so Eastern time, so you have a ton of time. We're about 12 and a half hours to lock, and I want to cover the 3-game slate. Sort of a straightforward slate. Some good defenses on the slate that we'll talk about, but if you're new to the channel, on Saturdays and Sundays, the weekend, right, people don't have work all day, we get a lot more reach. So welcome to the channel. There's a great chance that we're going to reach a good amount of new people. So welcome. My name is Wnba. I cover daily fantasy sports in the NFL, finally back. The NBA, not back till October. WNBA, like you're seeing right here, and the MLB. I do WNBA and MLB every single day. NFL is going to start to get into a 5-day-a-week rotation with potential weekend streams. I do provide projections for the WNBA. It's linked down below. There's all information. It's linked down below on Patreon. There's a video on there that describes what Patreon is, why I made the Patreon account, and then it describes what you get for the WNBA projections. You can figure that out all over there. As well as there's some free things down below. You can join the Discord, talk to some other people that are like-minded in there, a couple hundred people, get some free downloadable sheets, and you can also sign up for my NFL Daily Fantasy course. The NFL Daily Fantasy course should be dropping within the next 5 days. I'm about 50% done with it, maybe next 7 days. Did a ton of upfront work to kind of format it, structure it. Now we're just kind of recording the videos and have everything in place. So very excited for that. You can sign up down below. It's free to sign up. All you're doing is giving me an email opt-in that says Sal when it's done. Send me an email that's done. I'll look it out. I'll decide then if I want to purchase it. But that is for NFL Daily Fantasy Sports. Outside of that, if you can hit the like button, appreciate it. Returning subscribers, you know how much I appreciate you. We built this thing from literally a few hundred subscribers to start the year or end the last year to now almost approaching 6,000. So thank you so much. And if you get any value from this video and you're not yet subscribed, I just want to ask you if you could please subscribe. It helps me out the most. It helps me reach more people, grow the following, which allows me then to reach more people, be seen by more people, allows me to make more money from just third-party advertising rather than charging up front, right? And obviously more logistics for me to do this multiple hours a day. So thank you, appreciate it. And it's pretty straightforward today in the WNBA. A'ja Wilson, as of right now, is the only player popping up on an injury report, as she has been. She'll probably be out for a while. You know the drill. She's out with the ankle for potentially some long time. Liz Cambage and Derek Hamby. Hamby has now approached 5 figures at 10K, and I think it's warranted. Hamby's going to be playing more minutes. They like her out there for more minutes, even if it starts to get out of hand. She should still see 30 plus. I have her down for 34 today. She's just as good of a point per minute producer as Liz Cambage is. Cambage is just more fluctuant when she's on the court or not. So yeah, I think that it's warranted, and other than that, there's nothing else for injury news as of right now to point out. Gabby Williams didn't play in their past game for injury reasons, for just not playing as well reasons. Her minutes have been trending downwards. I currently have her as not in. I'm trying to scoop up any news from the beat reporter if there was an injury related to that, or if it's just a matter of they have a lot of players now returning from injury or returning from overseas who are seeing minutes and she's not because she hasn't been productive. So those are the only 2 notes, status notes, injury notes. Pretty simple. So let's get into the target offense sheet. We will blow this up even more for everybody. There you go. Look at that, blowing all the way up. So what I'm looking at here and really trying to identify the most, and we'll pull down some of these totals. I'm really just trying to identify pace, projected pace. I talk about in the NFL article how I project the pace for these types of games, but also NFL pace. It's just so important because the biggest thing in any sport, any DFS sport, is opportunity. In the NBA, opportunity comes from minutes on the course, but also the amount of possessions that your team will have. So more possessions, higher pace, more possessions, more opportunities to score, even if you're not scoring real points, more opportunities to gather assists, rebounds, double-double, upside, steals, whatever it might be in the WNBA. So if you're looking at pace, it's kind of all floating together here. You can see that the highest pace game is Chicago and Atlanta with about 79 possessions projected for this one, which is about 2 to 3 higher than any other game. It's nothing that's standing out, though, to make me target a single game here. It's pretty all widespread across or evenly distributed. Las Vegas and Dallas, 77.8 possessions per team projected today, so it's going to be a decent pace down spot for Vegas, which is a little worrisome, but I'm still not getting away from Hamby or Liz Cambage because there's going to be 3.5 less possessions in this game. It might dink their overall fantasy points by a half a point. For those types of elite players, probably nothing. Dallas, though, is going to have a big pace-up spot. They're going to go from 73 possessions per game to almost 78, so 4 to 5 possession bump here for this Dallas team. That's going to look good. That's going to look good for really all the players, but really the guards. It makes me look at Wnba. I know I say that wrong. I know people, and evidently 1 or 2 people is going to comment how to say it right. I'm sorry. I'm not going to I'm sorry, I look at it and I try and say it right, but I just can't. So yeah, you don't see the players on TV enough to kind of get their names right. Like Ryan Archie-Diacono, I watched multiple Bulls games and I was like, okay, yep, that's how you say it. I know I'm saying it correctly now. But yeah, anyways, I think it's a nice pace-up spot for Dallas. Usually I like to target the guards in pace-up spots because they'll be pushing the tempo even more. And then Minnesota and Indy, it has the slowest pace game at about 75.5 possessions. Slight pace down spot for Minnesota, about the pace that Indy plays at. Nothing here really in both of these games that is making me run away from them. It's just going to be really matchup based in that game. So I do like the fact that Dallas is in a pace up spot. Don't really mind that Las Vegas is in a pace down spot for their bigs, for their guards. Maybe a little bit it's worrisome, but nothing major. Atlanta's in a decent pace up spot as well. I should note they should be gathering a little over 3 possessions each, which again makes some of those guards look nice. Tiffany Hayes at the top end for guards and on her team looks nice. Brittany Sykes' minutes are a little too unstable. Renee Montgomery, when Tiffany Hayes is back, just point per minute production is not that great, even if the minutes are there. So it really, Tiffany Hayes looks nice from Atlanta as a pace-up spot target. So with all that said, let's go to these early interests, and I'll filter it by salary. I kind of just went through as I was doing all the research this morning, doing the minutes projections, the projections overall, and listed players. But if we filter it by salary, we get it split right there. So these are early interests. Again, it's 12 plus hours before lock, so these are going to be changing. But the main thing here is just to kind of target players that I think have upside tonight, whether it's a matchup, whether it's a pace situation, whether it's just going to see more minutes because of opportunities due to injuries like Cambage and Hamby due to Asia Wilson being out. I do prefer Hamby more than Cambage, believe it or not. $1,000 cheaper, a player who has similar point per minute upside and probably is going to see more minutes in this game. The matchup against Dallas is nothing to be kind of scared of. Lori Johnson's playing less minutes. She's old anyways, or older. 28 for the WNBA is older. Kayla Thornton's not going to stop Cambage or Hamby. So I like both of them. I think getting to both of them is not unideal, but it limits your ceiling, right? Only one of them is going to hit 50 fantasy points. Likely only one of them hits 40, but you can get a 35 and a 35. Is that worth it? Potentially on a slate like this, a 3-game slate where there might not be that much upside. I do prefer Hamby though. That doesn't mean I'm not getting to Cambage. I do like Tiffany Hayes, like I said. I'll be getting to the guards in some of these pace-up spots. Atlanta is in a decent-sized pace-up spot against Chicago. It's a tougher matchup on the defensive side, but I'm still going to get there. Odyssey Sims, $9,000. This is a player who should be seeing in the mid-30s in minutes just due to the fact that there's not much guard depth on this team. So I get to Odyssey Sims at $9,000. I do prefer Tiffany Hayes, though. I think that Hayes – oh, actually, I do prefer Odyssey Sims, though, because I think that Sims is going to have more minutes and they have similar production. Rico Gonboale, she's going to be playing probably 32 minutes, somewhere around there. She's been seeing mid to high minutes in some games. Nice matchup against Las Vegas. Like I said, a huge pace-up spot. I do prefer Rico Gonboale to Odyssey Sims and Tiffany Hayes for a cheaper price point, and what I would believe is just more possessions overall in her game. Danielle Robinson at $8,000. Danielle Robinson, it's a nice spot. 28 minutes is probably what you expect here with the upside of 32. Another spot where I think that it's a little bit of a difficult matchup, but $8,000 seems like about a fair price point. And again, for the guard position, what you're looking for here is just minutes, right? You're looking for stable minutes with production, and that's what Danielle Robinson. She has a floor of like 28 minutes today with the upside of 32. You can't say that about a lot of these guards. You can say it about the Tiffany Hayes, the same as the Wnba, but they're also a lot more expensive. I mean, $1,200, $1,000, $600 more expensive. You should be getting more stable minutes. Jontel Lavender, the best matchup on the slate is against Atlanta. Anytime you can get a forward against Atlanta, it's a good spot. They're dead last in the league guarding the forward position. Now, I don't trust Shanae Parker because she can come out and play 17 minutes and score 17 fantasy points, but at least Jontel Lavender on the season is averaging more minutes. She's averaging closer to 27 minutes per game, and this game I have her at 27 or 28 minutes, and again, the price point is $7,700 against the worst team in the league versus the guards. Usage rate is not that great. 17.2% usage rate is actually pretty abysmal, but just the fact that she'll be on the court a lot versus putrid defense at that price point, it is nice. Bajani Laney at $6,900, really good here. I mean, bad usage player, but really good price point on a player who should see like 33 minutes at a minimum. She's seeing huge minutes. Now she gets Minnesota. The game is slower pace, which is going to hurt her a little bit, but the price point is probably too cheap. Anything below $7,000 for a player seeing mid-30s in minutes, as long as they're decently productive, which is what she is, I like getting there. Alicia Gray, $6,500, way too cheap. This is probably the best value, one of the better values, not the best. The best values on the slate are about to come up, and Liz Cambage and Derek Hamby are the two of the three best values, in my opinion, in terms of my projections. Again, you can get those linked down on Patreon. Full discussion on what it is over on Patreon. It takes 2 minutes to kind of read it and see the video. But Alicia Gray, too cheap for $6,500. She finally got back to her normal minutes or so, closer to 30. She's seeing about 29 minutes per game on the year. I have her, I think, today for 27, and she still grades out really well. Usage rate has been down since kind of Rico Gonboale has been taking more minutes. But another guard here in this pace-up spot that I like a lot for Dallas. Stephanie Talbot, she grades out nicely. She actually grades out as a top 6 value on the slate today for me because her price point is now dipped below to $6,100. Minutes are a little bit all over the place, but they usually stabilize around 25. If I give her the 25 today and she grades out there. The matchup, the pace, all these things taken into account, it bodes well at that price point. I don't think she's any superstar to get you 30 fantasy points, but can she drop somewhere around 20? Yes, and at 6,100, that's kind of all you want. Megan Gustafson, so 3,600. Hold your horses here. She's been getting minutes in the last 2 games. In the last game, she saw like 27 minutes. So this is not a spot where I feel confident. This is a player who's averaging 8 minutes per game, but in the last 2 has seen her minutes spike for really no reason that I can see other than they're just trying to change other rotations. I don't think there was an injury. So I think that last game is more of an anomaly, but at 3,600, if I give her just 15 minutes today, she still grades out as a really good fantasy play. So keep an eye on that. Minutes have gone up. It's $3,600 dart play that's super risky because there's no real stability in the minutes. But if the minutes continue to trend how they have, or at least somewhat like they have, not maybe to the extent of 27 minutes, but even just like half of that or close to half of that, she still grades out at 3,600 as the best player below $5,000, and she's 3,600. So you get her in the lineup, you can fit anything else. Again, I'm not really convicted around that play. It's just something to note that there's a dirt cheap option on the slate that is potentially going to see 20 minutes today at the very minimum, probably sees 12 to 15, and even at that 12 to 15 in this pace up spot for Dallas, it grades out decently. Now it's probably better for cash because in tournaments you want to take advantage of a lot of ceilings, but at 3,600, if she can go out there and get you 15 fantasy points in cash or in a tournament, even maybe it allows you to fit in both Wnba and another top end player. So that's where I'm at right now. There's not a ton of dominant forwards on this slate. I'm probably not going to get this in Sylvia Fowles because she has the toughest matchup in the league against Indiana versus the forward position. Outside of that, it's just Wnba and Wnba on the same team in terms of dominant forwards on this slate, and Dupree I don't really believe too much in. So yeah, I'll be getting to Cambridge, Wnba on the top end, and then sprinkling in some guards and pace up spots. Cheap end options, there's not a ton, but the guards in Dallas are nice, especially Gray at that cheap price. Laney's okay for cash, and then Megan Gustafson is interesting to me. Keep an eye on news in the day. You can follow me on Twitter at @SalvetriDFS for updates on all the news for the WNBA later in the day. You can go down Patreon, check out all my packages for the WNBA projections and some other things. There's also free things down below. You can sign up for the NFL DFS course that will be releasing within the week. All you have to do is opt in. Don't worry, there's no spam. I'll just say, hey, the course is ready. Check it out if you want. And then from there, you can just check it out, decide if you want to buy it. And then link down below is also some free strategy guides for the NBA and NFL. The NBA one's going to relate a lot to the WNBA, so you can check that out as well. So thank you. Hit the subscribe button before you leave. Hit the like button before you leave. My name's Sal. You already know that. Peace out.